What it do, what does it do? Welcome to the Bears Den, your premier poetry podcast, the place where we pick the brains of some of the dopest performance poets in the game. I am your ever humble host, that most eloquent earth sign. Oh, beware, it is that boy Bear. And we're coming straight out the wood with something guaranteed to be good. So grab your pen and your pad and let's head into the lab here on the Bears Den.
Mother Eve is
Giants
no longer
often become territorial and pride those who run.
It's
However,
simply the launch
I'll
pad my
accept the
spaceship
challenge.
One for four,
Put up
two
my
for
dukes
10,
like
three for
Muhammad
20.
Ali
Please don't
with
get
One for
offended.
4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20.
I had some
One for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20. This is not a random assortment of numbers. This is a travesty.
Wonder why my
This
mind
was not
is
my first time leaving a
tears
bride.
of my heart. For
Hey, Courtney, those
No
chose
more
to let I've
blood.
had to capture this shit.
What it do? It's your boy Bear, your favorite poet's favorite poet. And we are back in the lab with yet another installment of the Bears Den. And today I'm here with the homie, the lady, cold-blooded killer on the mic and in life, Miss Diondra Ross. What does it do, madam?
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderfully well. I am great. Not as good as you look, but I'm doing what I can.
Hey.
Look at her blushing. Oh,
Right,
look at her. Looking like a chocolate cherry.
Thank you.
You are welcome, man. I am glad, honored, excited to have you here. Finally, you know, our schedules have been, yeah.
But thank you for the opportunity. I'm so happy to be
You
here.
are most welcome. I am happy to have you here. You know, it's all love, the BTC, you know what I mean?
Of course.
The illustrious, the original Black Thought Collective. The officials.
Look, and I have not forgot, okay?
Hey.
I have not forgotten.
That's womb to tomb, baby. That's always. That's forever. Someday we're going to get it together.
Of course.
I've talked to, you know, say we got to, you know, Crunch and Glenn, like, bro, we got to get, you know, our lives situated.
I literally was talking to Darian about this. Like, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed being a part, and it was really, really dope.
Yeah. Dope poets, man. That's the part I love about it, being surrounded by some truly accomplished, iconic, serious, heavy folk that made me want to write. You know, I'm like, okay, I see. Okay, let me. I got one for you. Okay, where my pen at?
Right.
All right. So before we go another further, now I know you, but the people here don't know you yet. That's what we're getting to. So let me lay out little credentials for the listeners. So D. Ross is not just a poet and spoken word artist. She is a journalist. Word up. Mm-hmm. Having earned a degree in broadcast journalism in 2016 from the illustrious, laudable, the magnificent Langston University.
Yes, sir.
L's up. all day. She's also an author, having just released her brand new book, Revealing New Skin.
Yes.
Which I say I got to get my copy. It's okay you didn't bring one with you. I'm going to forgive you for that.
Look, I'm waiting on my books to come in.
Okay. We'll let you make it on that one. So, dear listeners, if I come back later and was like, I still ain't got my copy.
You're going to get your copy.
All
Period.
right. Else I will, for everybody, your social media info, like, please jump in her DMs, because where's Bear stuff? All right. So, she is a certified Okie. We don't hold that against you. Hailing from Oklahoma City, OK. And she says it is her aim to use her life experiences to convey transparency, to encourage, to speak life, and inspire others to truly live a life of boldness. That's a lot in a few words, man. That is very admirable. I feel like I might have just had an encouragement. I think they sit here and like meditate for a moment about that, you know, like kind of, you know, let that draw that into my spirit, you know.
Yeah, let it.
I gotta bring it in, you know.
We cannot just be called existing.
Hey.
Period.
Be human doings, not just human beings.
Period. You said it. And that's a
High
whole
five
word.
across the table.
That's a whole word.
So shut up, I'm gonna tie you. So her goal is to continuously grow as a writer, uplift other poets, which you do, to define their distinctive voice in their own material, which is very important, because be you when you do what you do. Because
Exactly.
you are the only and best you got.
Exactly.
And to publish many more books, which I'm excited to see. And quick dropping plug. You know, say Ink Theme Press would love to have you.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know, saying we.
Drop me more details.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? We'll chop. We will definitely chop.
I published this book. I self-published this book this time, and it was definitely a journey.
I do understand. I definitely. Yes, I definitely
It
understand.
was a lot of times I was just like, okay, let me go find me a publishing
Hey.
company.
And I'm saying, hey, I'm just, right around the corner. I'm saying, I ain't no but a DM away. For anybody that may be listening, info will be, written up at the bottom. Holler at your boy. We do good work. I'm just saying, I'm good at what I do. References
I
upon
trust you.
request. I'm good at what I do. Anyway, all right, so let's get this thing cracking, man. So I know, okay, like I said, we've seen books kind of thing. I've seen you on the stage. I've shared the stage with you. Like you just rocked and killed, you know what I'm saying? You run with Poetic City, ran with Poetic City. A whole city of poet people, and you killing the game, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to say, top 5. I want to say, I don't want to hurt my feeling, but top 5, top 3, you know what I'm saying? Killing the game and the whole squad, doing what you do. So when did you start doing what you do?
Actually, I started when I was a child.
Really?
And really, I just was writing. I used to write songs. I used to, yeah.
You probably don't know.
Little freestyles, little raps. I used to just write. So I knew writing was always going to be a part of me. But my first time ever, reciting a poem was at church. I recited a Phyllis Wheatley poem.
Okay.
And then I started seeing my siblings. They were poets as well.
Okay.
I was going to their shows. So I really started, young. And I feel like it was just seeds being planted, and I was picking up the flowers.
Hey.
That was pretty much it. So I want to say 6.
Oh, wow.
For real. 6, and then I remember 6th grade, I took a whole poetry class, and we was creating poems there. And it was just me now. What I would have thought I would have been a poet? No. That was just, I just love to write. Mm-hmm. But now, when I sit back and reflect, I just feel like, God, you already was prepping me for this.
Nothing is by accident.
At all.
Our paths are designed. It's just a question of whether or not we submit to walking in them.
Exactly.
But I believe that if and when we do, there is no greater joy or blessing or benefit than being used for what you were built to do.
Exactly. So,
and as you use your gift, not just for yourself, but to help and reach others.
Exactly.
All right, so always been a writer, which I guess would explain journalism.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes perfect sense, because I am aware that this craft that we love, that we give so much back to us, does not always give a lot monetarily back to us. It's one of them things that I feel enriched when I write or perform a good poem. I feel like so much like it's just the bounty of blessings of great things in life that don't quite pay my light bill, but that's okay. So exploring other avenues and options. I dig it.
Yes. But with that, I just feel like if you just continue on with the journey of what God wants you to do, blessings will come in.
Oh, most definitely.
It's been times where I wasn't even looking for money, but people were reaching out to me. And I heard, when God gave you a vision, he's going to send you the people. And he does. Yeah. And so, being a poet, it's like a starving artist type of, I don't want to call it a occupation or a hobby or anything, but it's just kind of in a way, we're starving artists up until you allow God to take control. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't have to, search or cry about supporters. They come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I have made money from poetry, and I have been able to be blessed from just staying on the stage, speaking to people and not asking for money. People want to give it to me. So it's just like, I kind of feel like when you come in with a different mindset, hey, people will shock you. When you come in not hungry for money and you come in just hungry to just serve other people, you'll be blessed in the end. So for me, it's bigger than that.
You know, the example of Solomon stands true, man. When you know, God told me he was going to be king, you know, the guy asked to say, what do you want? And he said, just give me the wisdom to serve your people the right way and to stay true to you. And God said, because you could have asked for originally things, but you didn't. I'm going to give you what you asked for, and I'm going to give you everything else too.
It's a word. That's a word, period. A whole word. So it's just like, now that I'm seriously reflecting on everything, I'm understanding it's bigger than me. And once you get that mindset that it's bigger than you, more comes with it. More comes with it, and you just need to prep yourself.
Hey, that's they say press down, shake it together, overflow it. I've always said, I do believe, you know, a lot of people say, no, be careful what you pray for. I said, be prepared for what you pray for.
And that's just that. That's just that. I'm always like, you know, continue to give me wisdom. Continue to give me knowledge. Like, just when you give me wisdom, I know how to move. And I know how not to just move in my own will or move selfishly. Like, it's not about me.
If any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth freely and upbraideth not.
And that is just
and wisdom is, I got a tattoo. It's Proverbs. My favorite verse is Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. With all thy getting, get an understanding. Like, that's the thing, man. Of
you just said something that just kind of like, when you understand yourself, when you understand your gift, and when you understand where it came from, you move different. You move different. You speak different. You make sure when you get on the stage, it's intentional. Like I said, it's bigger than me. So when I am on the stage, I don't care if it's one person. If it moves something within you, like, I did my job.
Amen.
If it make you go home, think about it. Like, hold up, she got me thinking about my life. She got me thinking about my next move. I did my job. I don't care about no oohs, ahs. If I did not move you in the way that you were supposed to be moved, I'm not impressed. So, like, my main goal, like I said, live a life of boldness. Purpose. Your gift. I'm just so passionate about that because it's like, once I reach that moment, I know how good it is. Like, it's a feeling I really can't even explain, honestly.
I feel you.
Like, on my way here, I just had, my mind just was like, I was just thinking about everything. Like, you know what? I'm really at this point. I never, like I said, I've been writing. I was writing songs, writing poetry. I was just writing to be writing. Like, little skits. I used to just write. And so just to know that I'm really a poet, if people know me as a poet, I'm just like, yeah, this wasn't no mistake.
Nah, man.
It was no mistake.
Your talent, what I've seen, what I've been privileged to be a part of, confirms that this is not a mistake or a coincidence. So, speaking of the writing, of what you do, of the game, the killing that you do, I said I've been a partake. I've supped at the font of the words of the officialness, but unfortunately, our listeners have not. So we got to rectify that. So go on give us something, poet. Spit, poet.
All right. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Giants often become territorial and punk those who run. However, I'll accept the challenge. Put up my dukes like Muhammad Ali with every boxing ring he hopped in. I ain't never scared. Bone crushing like David did Goliath. With no question. See, I'm not hesitant when it comes to breaking generational curses. Authority beast out my mouth and cause damage. Giants, you do not belong here. Giants, move or get dragged. Giants, I wish death upon your existence. See, most don't know this, but I can get crunk. And I mean set this thing off. I don't like being indirect, so I will address them. I'm talking about them giants that operate in rejection, comfort, fear, etc. No opportunities to make themselves at home. I do not cook dinner for pity parties. They will not be able to get full off me. I will watch them go into starvation, causing them to shrink. Yeah, I'm reclaiming my time as the hand tick on the clock, denouncing all hindrance. See, I read it no tell. How giants can identify their prey by the scent of their blood. Well, I'm convinced congestion played a part. The nerve to think they was gonna catch me off guard, for my bloodline is mighty. And I serve the Most High who could see all things before it even happened. See, he prepared me for this moment. And the last time they overstayed they welcome, so in the midst of their absence, I became war ready. They will not diminish me. I have a fire on the inside that cannot be tamed. I'm lit from my head throughout the rest of my body. Boldness breaks cowards' necks, and I cause giants to fee, fi, fo, fumble. Thank you.
Man. Bruh. I went from, so, Angela Davis, Asada Shakur to the MC Light. I'm just like, I'm sitting back like in black excellence right now, just feeling like, bruh, we standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial at the mall, man. I'm like, spit poet, like, bruh. That was fuego. Thank you. Man, that the power of the piece, matching the power of the delivery, just the whole. So we talk about a lot here, and since I interview performance poets, is the value in nature and quality and the effort we put into the performance aspect.
Right.
That a lot of people seem not to really grasp that. If you're a performance poet, performance is a necessary facet of what you do, and there's so many good poets that have different styles,
right?
So I'm always interested, intrigued by that, seeing how we do that, but that was the perfect meld of intent and import and just bars.
I'm over smelling.
I'll tell you, I should look like a chocolate cherry over there. Look at the pleasure. That's, oh my goodness, it's adorable. But bars, man. That was yeah, I definitely see what you mean. You say go back and sit and thinking about that, man. Fee, fi, fo, fumble. That was. Man, I'm trying to remember all the pieces. Man, I wanted to take notes and stuff, but I every time on the right side, I was I called oh, there's more coming. It's like, that perfect glass of lemonade on a hot summer day, and you take that first sip. It's like, oh my God, so you want to savor it, but it's so good you got to keep drinking because you're thirsty, you want more. You're like, I should slow down to savor this, but I can't stop. But then you're like, there's a whole picture. And I can get more.
Ooh, that was good.
I do what I can.
And you always do it, so that's good.
It's hard being great, but it's great being a part of greatness, which is why we are here.
Yes.
Man, I am okay, so let me ask you this. And this one of the reasons I want to do that. I would say because there's a lot of fans of poetry and fans of poets, and that's not always necessarily the same thing,
right?
That's why I personally have two books. There's one that's stage work, Keep Calm and Feed the Bears. You didn't know, but
I didn't. So
okay,
plug yourself and then drop me the details later. I did not know that.
For sure. Keep Calm is Feed the Bear. Stage poetry from an angry earth sign. So
Bear, I'm upset, but I ain't gonna do it.
I appreciate it. I'm saying not on my show. You're not going. You're not gonna check me on my show.
I'm gonna respect you, but what?
Okay, because not on my.
You have two books.
Yes.
I really thought you just came with the publishing company, the not the what the heck?
Ink Press.
Ink Press. But I'm like, $2.
Mm-hmm.
I've been buying poets' books.
They've been out and around for a minute now. They are available on inkthinkpress.com in paperback and ebook, whatever your flavor. So for Nook or Kindle, they are there.
So I will be looking, and y'all look too.
Come holler at your boy. Get a taste and savor the flavor. It will change some part of your life. I don't know how much.
I'm excited.
But so that one. See, you got me. Now you got me, but stop.
No, because you are. Look. You need your flowers now. Like, you are an amazing poet.
Like flowers.
You are an amazing poet. You're one of the poets that I love to listen to. I love to see you on the stage doing your thing. Like, and you are in your own lane for sure. For sure. So anybody who swerves in your lane, they ain't supposed to be there. Period.
Be careful. The bear plays nice on TV. Don't test me.
And that's just that.
Because the the beast will eat. Oh my gosh.
Look at
I gotta
you
remember where I am.
smelling.
Okay, where I was going with this. Okay, so yes, there's the one book that's pieces that you've heard me do kind of thing. Because that book is just for stage work. Things I've performed or shall perform, or things to be performed. The other book, Scribble Visions, Thoughts and Theories from the Third Lane, is a book of just works to be read. The idea behind that was performance. I don't know about other people, and I don't necessarily always do this, but there's a difference, a stylistic difference to a performance piece, even in the writing. There's a certain, I think, a natural cadence to the words, even on the page, that you can sense in a performance work as opposed to one that is just to be imbibed in the reading, as it were.
Yeah.
At least that's how I view and envision it. But some people have that gift to, do both, and balance both. Now, so as you are an excessively prolific, lifelong writer, as it were, and a dope-ass performer, which do you think you lean more toward?
Writing.
Okay.
And I realized that when I was writing my book. Like, it was pieces that I know I'd done on stage and people have heard it. But when I was writing, I was like, how I said it on the stage, it was different reading it on paper. Like you said, like, I wasn't even thinking about that. All I did was just changed up my poems. Like, I just re-edit them to fit perfectly for reading. But yeah, I feel like I shine more with writing. Okay. And I feel like, I like the stage as well because I have a presence on the stage, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm more creative if I'm just focusing only on the writing aspect. If that makes sense. Because it's different when, like you said, when you writing it or then when you're on the stage. It's kind of like a different cadence, but I kind of feel like I can control it more when it's on paper. I can give more of a picture when it's on paper. I give more imagery. And then it causes people to like, let me go read that again. And because when you're on stage and you're speaking, some people catch what you say, some people don't. But when it's on paper, you can't miss it. And then when it's on paper, it's kind of like you want to go back just to make sure like you are receiving exactly what the reader is trying to even provide to, not the reader, but the writer trying to provide to the readers. So I just kind of feel like I like the writing part of being a poet. And if I need to get on the stage, I will, but I lean more towards writing.
One of the other reasons I have the reason I did the keep calm and feed the bear one was probably because, like I said, as poets, we pack a lot into a poem. If you do it well, I believe.
Yeah.
There's levels and layers And I was like, okay, I know for a fact, I know for the way that I write, because the way I think, there's a lot of stuff that I endeavor to make relatively clear in the way I deliver, but there's so many things you won't catch when you hear.
Exactly.
So I'll say it's the cheat sheet to, so like you've heard a poem, one of my favorite pieces, and me and Mac was talking about this, one of his favorite pieces, Amy. The whole extended metaphor well, I don't want to say too much. I'm going to give it away to the people and give them a little something to go look forward to. But if you hear it, you won't. Okay, first, the true meaning of the poem does not become clear, does not evidence itself until the end.
I remember this poem.
And that's by design.
Right.
But the real beauty, I think, what is cool to me, and it's I'm like I think my own stuff. I look at myself like that's dope. If you once you heard it, okay, and you know what it's about, and once you read it, then when you read it, you can go back and see where I was laying the seeds of what was happening.
Exactly.
They don't tell you. You'll see that was coming, but you won't see it the first way through. And I think that's the beauty of being a writer as well. Some people, they just, they're more pure performance, which of course no knock to at all. And they're written, they write just, they publish what they speak.
Yeah.
I have an affinity, and probably because it's the way I live, for those who write to write, and there are those who write to perform. Like, they do both. We talked about a long time ago in the Black Thought Collective group meet that we had going on. I asked a question like, do you ever write just to write, or you write only to perform? We had that discussion, and that's why I think it can make your performance pen stronger if you. And I would say that you're a prime example of, I think, that you give credence to the words and the craft and the form of just writing. You like to write. You have love to, you have proficiency, you have an actual talent and skill, which makes you dope at whatever you're writing, but gives that much more to what you end up saying. Right. Because the foundation is so bedrock. I think that's super dope.
Yeah, so I learned a lot with writing this book. I learned a lot about myself as a poet. And that was something that I realized, like, okay, like authority. My poem Authority, that's kind of like, everybody know that poem. I think that was like one of the first poems I actually like performed at Dope Poetry. And I just got so much love back from it. But when I actually, like, it was different. When I said it out loud, I loved it. But when I read it on paper, I was like, what in the world? So, like, and when I read it, that's when I had to, like, separate the two. Like, everybody else, I loved how I said it because, it was strong. It was, it hit certain people where they was able to take some of the gems. But when I read it on paper, I was like, I want to make a story. I don't want to seem like I'm just talking at you. And I feel like that's the difference from my book, and that's the difference of me actually being on stage. Like, because normally when I first started doing poetry, it was more like an outreach for me. And when I say outreach, like I said, I want you to go home with something. So I was like, I want to motivate people. I want to encourage you to be a better person, a better version of yourself. So this is how I'm going to come out here with this poem. It's more of like, I'm stern and firm about what I'm saying, and this it is what it is. But when I rewrote it, I was like, no, I want to give them more of imagery. I want to give you a story to make you think. So I changed the authority, but I kept it the same foundation of what I wanted it to say. And that's why I lean more towards writing, because I'm like, I'm crazy with the pen, and I didn't realize it until I started writing my book. And that's when I was just like, you know what? I can see myself publishing many more books. And of course, I love the stage, but writing is my home. Writing is my home, and if I choose to want to get out and visit, I will.
Right on. I dig that.
will.
I dig that.
And I'm just so thankful that I'm even able to do both, because some people can't. So it's just like, look, that writing book opened my eyes.
I think it's amazing and it's beautiful that they say you have this journey of self-discovery. I think a lot of times, and part of the reason I asked that question of y'all, and I ask people in general, do you write just to write? Because to me, art is personal. I write for me, and I may decide to share it with you.
That's so good.
But see, I read my stuff like, bro, that was dope. Like, I'm reading my own stuff on like, bro, like, I'm looking for like, did you catch that? Because that was fire. I'm audiencing myself, going like, bro, spit, like.
No, and that's what I was sharing with my sis Darian. I said I'm reading pieces like in my book, Revealing New Skin. That was a rebirth for me because, like I said, when I first started, it was more of outreach poems. I want to encourage you, I want to move you, but Revealing New Skin, it was personal. It's personal and it's an outreach, so it's a mixture. Like I'm my poems is to call you to action. But then I'm also giving you a storyline of who I am as a person. I'm also giving you a storyline of how I even think and why I even feel like it's so important for you to live in your purpose, for you to move in your gift, for you to be intentional about who you are as a person. Like, my book really tells the stories in a way. If you read it in order, it tells the story. Even if you don't, I feel like it still tells the story. But it's like, with Revealing New Skin, I did write more for me. And I was like, I should have been doing this, because I can write more poems for me and still move you. Because now you're knowing who I am as a person. It's just I'm not just a person standing in front of you trying to tell you, be a better person. No, now you seeing like, she's not just about talk. She's also going through her own, journey of life where she's growing, where she has to motivate her own self to live in her purpose. It's not always easy. So it's just like, I feel like with Revealing New Skin, it was personal. That book was personal. And maybe my next book, it would be more, for the people, but I had to let them know, like, yeah, I'm just because I haven't been on stage, that don't mean I'm not attended to myself. I'm not attended to my writing journey. I'm not attended to my journey in general when it comes to my gift. And that's what I'm excited for everybody to see, like, see me. Because sometimes you can sit in the room at a seminar, you don't know the person who's talking, but they saying some good stuff. Yeah. But when they kind of give you that, that insight about them, you can receive their words better. You can receive a little bit more, because you're like, okay, she's not just trying to preach something. She's also living the things that she is preaching. And I don't even want to say preaching, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean,
yeah, and
I'd rather see a sermon than hear one today.
And that's why, like, I'm just so excited for people to see a little bit more of me. And Revealing New Skin, honey, just get the book. But
get the book, go Amazon, find that bad boy, get your copy now.
But I think it's important for other poets to be the same way. Don't just be getting up there talking. Give people a little insight about you. Be transparent.
That's exact. So, Proverb and I chopped. Puppet and I have to say proverb for this, because people are like, oh, you know what I'm saying, but pup,
yeah.
And one thing I talked about, I said, what I love about him, his stuff is always like so it's not necessarily exactly personal, but it reads as personal. It comes from a true, like, real transparent kind of place. And we talked about it. He said that's his purpose is to heal himself and people through his poetry. To have that vulnerability and transparency to reach people. I'm like, man, I respect it and admire so much, because that's not bare. Like, I'm giving you, like, what I give you on stage, but something that you said is that resonates with my mindset. I used to tell people that I, had interest in relationships with back in the day. I said, if you want to know me, read my poetry. I said, it's not really super personal. It's not Japan like that. Some stuff will look and seem like that, but because I like to write different things.
Right.
But I said, if you read my poetry and if you pay attention, you'll get to see how I think. And once you understand how I think, you'll understand me.
Right. You understand why I chose to get on stage and said, say what I, not say what I said, but said, like, you'll understand why I choose my words wisely in my poetry. It's intentional. It wasn't a mistake that I said what I said. No, I wanted you to receive it that way. And I just feel like my new line of work that I just been working on and writing, that's what it is. Like, it's giving you the door to open, to be like, okay, this is how she thinks, this is who she is, like, this is her core values. And I really think it's important because I had everything in my mind until I lost it, but I truly think it's important because, like, for me, I'm really a private person. I will only tell you something if I choose to. But with the new poems that I have been writing, I'm choosing to allow more people in. I'm choosing for you to see me in a different light and not just only talk about my beliefs and not just only talk about, some of my core values. I'm choosing to allow you to see my character for what it is. And I'm just happy about it because it's like, I've been private so long, and if you really close to me, then you know. But people who don't know me, you will never know unless we have a real conversation. And I feel like with my book, you don't even have to have a conversation with me unless you truly want to after you read my book. But it's open. It's just keep giving you keys to different doors of me, because it ain't just one door.
I definitely need my copy because I am becoming more and more intrigued as they go. I knew you was a dope person and a dope poet. But now I'm seeing, how dope. It's just like that good crack. It's a good heroin.
And one thing I really do like about Revealing New Skin, it's not all serious. I'll talk about some stuff in there, and I even I have to laugh at my own self because it's like I don't have to always be serious. And certain things I talk about, it's comical in there. Okay. And it will have you thinking like,
I was like, wait, does D-Ross get a little ratchet in this?
I don't get ratchet. I get creative.
Okay. I mean, I'm not knocking ratchet. I'm just saying.
I get creative.
Tell me what pays the ratchet. I'm just flip up.
None of the poems in there are ratchet. I just feel like I really went in my bag on some of these, all of those poems.
Okay.
And that's why I say my book. That's why I'm saying, like, my book is really going to show you my character. Like, a lot of people, some people, they have their own assumption about me because of my poetry. They have their own assumption about me just because. And with Revealing New Skin, it's showing you, like, she's not just a poet. This girl goofy. Her mind just randomly thinks about things. And she write, like, I have a poem called Biscuits and Gravy. Yeah.
Is it actually about Biscuits and Gravy?
Oh yeah, it is.
Right on.
and just how I wrote the poem. I had fantastic brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's been here with us.
Yes.
Yes.
I had him edit some of my poems, and he edited Biscuit and Gravy, and he was just like, you know what? Like, it was just the feedback that he gave me. Like, this is the reason why you're one of those poets that I respect, basically. And I'm just like, I didn't know how people was going to receive the fact that I did write a poem about Biscuit and Gravy, but...
It's ironic that you mentioned him in that because when he was on, he did his poem about chicken nuggets.
He had a poem about
chicken nuggets. And it was like, I was like, okay, so I have to ask. And okay, so this is something I was going to say earlier, circling back and about that, and you just missed with the Biscuit and Gravy thing. One of the things, like I said, there are fans of poetry and poets, and people want to know, like, okay, sometimes a poem is a metaphor. sometimes it's not.
Right.
You know. So people are like, okay, well, what inspired that? What was it really about? You know, is that, you know, what are you really, you know, trying to say right here, kind of thing. And so we talked about that. And I was like, so was it really about, you know? He's like, mostly, yeah. It was actually about. And so there's so many ways you can take Biscuits and Gravy. It could be a whole, like, you know, a view of you know, Southern heritage and probably Black experiences, sociocultural. It could be, you know what I'm saying, like, I like my man's thick like Biscuits and Gravy. It could be a whole thing. But some good old-fashioned red-eye sausage and gravy and some biscuits and buttermilk biscuits. I ain't had breakfast, man, so I'm a little discombobulated right now because
you want to know something? Biscuits and Gravy was the first poem that I ever performed in front of anybody. I was in high school.
Really?
So the poem that's in my book, of course, it's not the poem that I performed. Because I mean my writing skills back then.
we grow. It's
right.
okay.
So Biscuits and Gravy is definitely a different version from what I wrote, but it still has the same meaning. I love biscuits and gravy. It's one of my favorite breakfast meals, and I just made it like a love poem. How I love biscuits and gravy, and I also submitted Biscuits and Gravy to a writing competition, and I won.
Okay.
So, like, you know, I've been writing. Like I said, I've been writing for years, and I had to bring Biscuits and Gravy back. I just had to because I'm like, people don't know I've really been doing this. And Biscuits and Gravy was the first time people was like, hold up. My whole class was like, you wrote that for real? This is me, yeah. Mm-hmm. I did. And I jokingly wrote it because I was like, I know they're going to think I'm crazy because I'm writing about food. It's going to sound like I'm bad. But I did it anyways. My teacher was impressed and I got a good grade. And so for many years, I carried that with me. I remember I told my sis about it, Darian. And we used to like do these like fake freestyles because I really can't freestyle, but whatever. And I will always insert that in somewhere in my freestyle, like, oh, how I love biscuits and gravy. So the fact that I even rewrote that whole poem is so funny to me. But that poem, like the concept of that poem has been around for years. Mm. And now that I'm 27 and I've changed it up, I absolutely love it. Like, it's probably like one of my favorite poems in the book.
Right on.
Because it's like, now this is a love poem.
This is what real love looks like.
Period.
So fellas, if you be listening,
I be hungry. No.
When you hop in them DMs, invite her to Waffle House.
Just give me some biscuits and
you know what I mean? Like, you spend time with a dope poet, like, she's like, okay, you kind of cute or whatever, like, okay.
But that all makes sense. I did not know he wrote a chicken nugget poem, but when he read that poem, he did give me, like, great feedback.
You know, it's funny when you're talking about it. I was thinking about, I said our brother, Fab Four Love, shout out to TBS.
Yeah.
You can't see the hands right now, but the hands is going right now.
Alley-oop sorors.
You know what I'm saying? Fab for Love, said to my brothers, a fine with our symphonia. Oh, hell. But our brother, he was a Daydream Day Blackwell. His song, I Could Eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch All Day. And it's funny, every time he does that, it's like, wait, are you really? Oh, I think he's talking about cereal. Wait, is he talking about cereal? I think he's talking about cereal. Crazy.
I believe that's talent. That's real talent.
That is. If you can flip food to be a thing that's food. I mean, that is.
I have like 3 food poems in my book.
Now I feel like I need to write about food. Now I feel challenged.
Do it.
I am. I will. I shall write about.
I want to hear it, and now I want to hear chicken nugget too. Chicken nugget.
Oh yeah, man, it's crazy.
And that's what I love about writers who stay in their lane, poets who stay in their lane. Like, you're a poet, you can write whatever you want to write about. You can be versatile. It's your work. So poetry that talks about stuff that nobody wouldn't even think to talk about, I'm all for it. I want to listen to it.
That's why I said poetry, art, I believe. My inspiration, my artistic creative inspiration is Miles Davis, like hands down. Name my son Miles the whole nine, because he was so true to his art. Now, he was a hard human being to get along with. He was very aloof. He was not very social. You probably see more of why we resonate with this. He didn't like people. He didn't, he had his group of folk he dealt with, which is ever changing, getting smaller kind of thing because how he was. But he was a true artist and a master of his craft. Some people took it offense to he would come out on stage and play in the latter years, and he faced away from the audience and play. People thought he was just being, arrogant and aloof. I mean, but you're still going to pay to come see him, see his back, because he's that good. But he was doing it because he said, I'm playing for me. You're allowed to be here while I'm playing. That's why my mantra is, I'd rather be your favorite poet than your favorite person. I love the art, and I want you to love the art. So, write your food, write about pizza, goddamn it, write about your Xbox. As long as you are happy with it, that's all that freaking matters.
And it takes time. Anybody who's starting, who right now you probably feel really inspired to be a poet. That's something to always keep in your mind. But it takes time to truly accept that sometimes. Because I know for me, before I truly got comfortable as a poet, I was, will the crowd like this? Will they even understand this? Now I'm just kind of like, look, if you want to understand it, you will.
Right.
If that's something if you truly value me as a poet, if you want to understand what I'm saying, you will. Because my metaphors ain't just like hard. Now, I don't listen to some poets. I'm like, what are they talking about? But if you truly want to walk away with something or take something from it, you will. This moment's for you. So when I write, I don't think I have like a certain audience. Like, if you can't resonate with what I'm saying, it's not for you. And I feel like every poet needs to have that in the back of their mind. Because once you start writing for people, it takes your writing skills a whole nother direction that it wasn't supposed to go. So, like he said, you want to write about food, you write about food. You.
Thank you for answering a question. I was like, you are writing my interview as we go. I'm looking at my questions like, check that one, check that one, check that one, check that one. Yeah, we definitely did that one. Because one of my questions was, what advice do you give aspiring poets? And I think that is the perfect thing.
Be you. Be you. I'm not going to give any names, but other poets reach out to me just about their work. And that's something I always tell them. I'm like, when I read their pieces, I can tell that they have been inspired by other people, so they wrote something. And it's just like, dope piece, but make sure this is you. It's different when you're inspired and you want to write something that resonate within yourself, but don't be inspired by somebody else's words or the way that they choose to get on stage, and then you write a piece. Because that's a total difference. Because it's like, this don't even really fit you. If that makes sense. And people who reach out to me about their poems, of course, I know them personally. So that's how I'm able to even discern, I could tell that you was inspired by somebody else and you just chose to write this piece. But make sure that you stay true to how you think. You stay true to how you truly feel with your emotions, not with nobody else. Just stay true to what you really want to talk about. Because it's going to be a time when somebody's going to ask you, what did this line mean? You got to be able to answer that. Not, I just kind of put that in there because, somebody else said, So it's just make sure your own voice. Because that's what I make sure that I'm making sure when I get on stage, you don't think this sounds like somebody else. No, that's D. Ross. That's Diondra. She's speaking, and she's speaking her heart. So that's really what I'm telling anybody who want to write a poem or just write to be writing. Just make sure that that's what you want to write about. And if you are inspired, write your true feelings, write your true heart, write what you truly feel. And don't try to take bits and pieces from everybody else.
I walked in here today knowing D. Ross. I leave now wanting to know more Diondra.
Look,
Like,
I'm only 27 years young. That's so much more to me, if God allows.
oh, look at it now. Hey, most good journeys ain't short journeys. So, time, office, you know. One of the privileges of my position in this post is I get to pick the brain of poets beyond this space. I feel a little sorry for y'all, but me and her are gonna have some more conversations because I'm intrigued as to what more goes on in the mind of this magnificent wordsmith and poet. Y'all can't see this. You've probably seen the pictures. I'm looking at this tattoo, man. She got a microphone and a tight right on her arm. That is fire.
Thank you.
It's a whole, man.
My whole arm is dedicated to poetry. It's a black lotus on the back too.
That's just. We gotta have another step. We're definitely. You're coming back for season 2. You're definitely coming back for season 2.
What? I done made it. Woo!
Oh man, it was a foregone conclusion. Okay, before we go, tell the people where you can be reached and where they can copy your work.
Okay, so you can cop my book from Amazon, Revealing New Skin. I just had to make sure I give y'all the right information when it comes to my social media.
This stuff will also be written down, but pull out your pens and pay attention. You catch the first one around. Okay, go ahead.
So on Facebook, it's D.Ross Poetry Journal. And on Instagram, it is D.Ross _poetry_journal. You know, Instagram, I always got to make your username so difficult. Yeah. So, pretty much that's, for right now, that's all that's my only social media platform for poetry. But be in tune for other things, because I plan on just dropping some new stuff.
Yeah.
So follow me, like my page, so y'all can stay updated and everything. Like, I just feel like great things is about to happen.
Flood the DMs to make us stay on it, man. You know what I'm saying? If you inspire like I am, let her know we need more. We need more access, more content. Bruh. All right, so, family, we have come to the end of another interlude of inspiration. I would love to say a final thanks to my lovely, wonderful, awesome guest.
You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you so much.
Man, I thank you for being here and being part of this. Man, it's been dope. Super dope. As always, I'm your metronomical misfit, that boy Bear, and I leave you with these words. Poetry does not seek to imitate life. Rather, life aspires to become poetry. One love, 2 fingers. Deuces.
This